VA warns Congress that benefit payments are at risk due to projected $15 billion budget shortfall. This is a real thing, not fake, okay? So here we go again with this. And what we're going to do is open up this article from military.com that was published on July 18th, 2024. And as of this video, that was just yesterday. I'm going to have this article pinned below in the comment section so you can have this for yourself. But here we go. Here's the article, military.com. Bam, there's the title, $15 billion budget shortfall. Benefit payments are at risk. Let's just go ahead and dive into this. This is my first time reading this article, by the way. I have no idea what's in here. So the Department of Veteran Affairs expects nearly $15 billion shortfall that it needs to pay for benefits and health care. Okay, that's two separate issues here. To me, this is talking about VBA and VHA. VBA is really what we're concerned about with disability. VHA is healthcare, obviously. This year and next, so the rest of this year and next, in part because more veterans are using VA services than expected, officials told Congress this week. You know, that part is weird to me because the secretary is, which is good, the secretary is always pushing the phrase that the VA wants a relationship with every single veteran out there. That's about 18 million, a little bit more than 18 million. And so if that is the goal and all of a sudden there's a budget shortfall, obviously goals from the VA and the administration, at least on the budget side of the house, are not lining up. And that's just my very first initial thought looking at this article. But let's go ahead and continue to dive in here. An increase in benefits claims driven by the PACT Act, obviously huge benefit increase there, not just for disability compensation, which a large part of the PACT Act is for disability, right? Agent Orange, sinusitis, rhinitis, asthma, all of that stuff. But there's a huge healthcare package with the PACT Act as well that's covering a lot of that healthcare cost that this article had mentioned. So PACT Act could leave VA benefit accounts, I'm just going to round here, $3 billion short this year for VA benefits. Meanwhile, healthcare accounts could be nearly $12 billion short next year because of higher than expected staffing and prescription drug costs, among other factors. I don't want to get into big pharma here, but that is a very large issue that's really over my head when it comes to the price of prescription drugs. You know, some people would say corruption, greed, or whatever that may be. Interpret that as you will. But continuing down, in a statement Thursday morning, the VA said it's working with the White House and Congress to address the budget shortfalls in a way that does not harm veterans. That's good. Okay, this is a good statement, right? I think everyone could objectively agree. Now, whether you think whatever the VA and the administration does for the budget, you know, you can have your own personal thoughts there, but hey, they're trying, right? That's their goal in mind. Right now, due in large part to the historic PACT Act, VA is delivering more care and more benefits to more veterans than ever before. Press Secretary Terrence Hayes said in a statement about the budget shortfall, these results are life-changing for veterans, their families, caregivers, and survivors, and VA will continue to push to make sure they get the care and benefits they deserve. So that is good news. The VA is going to continue to push that. But in order for that to happen, they got to have money. Okay, that's an issue. That is an absolute issue. But a slideshow shown to Congress that was obtained by military.com warned of potential disruptions to benefit payments if there's insufficient funding by the end of the fiscal year. So the fiscal year ends the last day of September, okay, which is pretty soon. And the chairman of the House of VA committee is blasting the department for mismanagement. Okay, I'm assuming he's blasting the VA for mismanagement, not necessarily the administration when it comes to budgeting. But let's go ahead and find out, okay? This represents by far the largest budget shortfall The Department of Veteran Affairs has experience under any administration and a reputation of the FY25 budget request that the Biden-Harris administration presented just 4 months ago. This is Chairman Bost. Okay, Bost does lots of work on the VA committee. Wrote in a letter to Secretary Desmond Donahue on Wednesday, not only have your chief financial officers thrown out the dollar amounts requested for many key accounts, they have abandoned many of the estimates and projections that underpin their budget. This is not just fiscal mismanagement, it is a strategic whiplash. All right, so basically the CFO, Chief Financial Officer, he's pretty much saying that, hey, you suck, right? Whatever analysis you did in the finance world, in the budgetary world, obviously is wrong. Bost demanded McDonough answer questions about the shortfall by July 26th and raise the specter of the subpoena if he does not comply. We're definitely going to be covering that one. For this year, the VA had expected to spend about $193 billion on benefit payments for veterans. For this year, the VA had expected to spend about $193 billion on benefit payments for veterans. Here are my thoughts on that. And I had discussed this, and call me if I'm crazy, call me crazy, all right? But we just got out of, and I'm only speaking about post 9/11 here. We're not even going to include Shield Storm, Vietnam era, peacetime era, the survivors of the Korean War, and the few that are left of World War II. Post 9/11 generation only, a 20-year plus war. Everyone is always quick to send 18, 19, 20-year-olds to go fight a war and fund that war until it's over, and then all of a sudden we ran out of money, right? At least that's my initial thought looking at this. No, I'm not happy about that whatsoever. But that's taxpayers pay that every single year, and this number continues to rise, especially as YouTube, Reddit, and all these other online sources, not to mention VA claims consulting companies that are really helping veterans, helping there with the quotes, helping veterans obtain those benefits. And only a third of veterans are even rated. So you would assume at least half of the veterans could be receiving VA disability compensation, and therefore that number would rise. Now, this says benefits. I wonder what this includes. I assume it's everything from GI Bill, VRNE, Chapter 35, disability compensation, and all types of other stuff, okay? So far, disability benefit payments are slightly less than the Veteran Benefits Administration had projected for the year to date, but officials anticipate an increase by the end of the year, according to the slideshow obtained by military.com. In addition to an increase in disability benefits claims because of the PACT Act, officials expect an uptick in GI Bill payments because of the Supreme Court ruling in April that allows veterans to collect expanded education benefits. Payouts for post 9/11 GI Bill benefits have already exceeded projections for the year to date, according to the slideshow. Man, they don't even have the funds to fund GI Bill. That's a big issue in my book. If VBA has insufficient funding available, then compensation and pension payments to over 7 million veterans and survivors, and readjustment benefit payments to over 500,000 individuals that are scheduled to be delivered on October 1, 2024 are at risk. If VBA has insufficient funding available, then compensation and pension payments to over 7 million veterans and survivors, and readjustment benefit payments to over 500,000 individuals that are scheduled to be delivered on October 1 of 2024 are at risk, says the slideshow. The slideshow is what the VBA made, or the VA made. Meanwhile, in March, the VA requested nearly $370 billion for FY25, including about $134 billion in discretionary spending is the main source of funding for medical care. While the overall budget request was a 13% increase from this year, the discretionary funding was a slight cut because of budget caps imposed by Congress. Congress has yet to approve government funding for FY25, meaning lawmakers could still allocate more than the VA requested, but they also would have to reach a bipartisan agreement to ignore the previous approved budget caps. Now, you would think that bipartisan on funding veteran benefits wouldn't be an issue. I got a good feeling that this year, being election year, is going to be an absolute issue. So buckle up for that one. The budget request anticipated that there be staffing cut of about 10,000 employees in the VHA, but the agency now expects to have about 20,000 more employees than a budget projected for next year, which is about 5,000 more than they are right now, according to the slideshow. Pharmacy and prosthetic costs for next year could also be about $4 billion higher than expected if they follow the same trends in price increases as this year. More veterans using community care is also a factor in the budget shortfall. The VA said in the slideshow, the community care program allows veterans to see doctors outside the department using VA funding. The department had originally projected 12% increase in community care costs next year, but now foresees a 16.5% increase. And you can bet your bottom dollar, depending on the next administration, that number will definitely increase, okay? In its statement on the budget shortfall, the VA cast the higher than expected costs as a sign of the success and the implementation of PACT Act, which expanded care and benefits to millions of veterans exposed to toxins during the military service. Significant care growth has come from new benefits and enrollment opportunities from the PACT Act, in addition to unprecedented outreach efforts to veterans, informing them of enrollment opportunities. This definitely sounds like the VA claim clinic stuff, that the VA absolutely is dog baloney, dog water at getting the information out there. So this I totally disagree with, okay? But in his letter, Boss slammed the VA for not budgeting for PACT Act-related increases that were widely expected. He also accused the VA of relying on budget gimmicks and argued that some of its explanations for increased costs were spotty at best, including speculation that demand for Ozempic and similar drugs may be the cause for increased drug prices. Pretty much he's saying, hey, you suck at budgeting, all right? Last sentence and paragraphs here. Boss also expressed alarm at the VA's 180-degree reversal on staffing levels. Huge issue there, right? Hey, we're going to get rid of 10,000 positions, but open up 20,000 plus another 5. That's definitely a 180. I understand that priorities may change, but it boggles my mind how roughly 10,000 full-time equivalent workforce reduction and the nationwide VHA hiring restrictions that you defended just a few months ago have already become more than 22,000. He wrote, hiring quality healthcare workers is difficult enough without a constant moving target. So there you have it. VA warns Congress that benefits payments are at risk due to projected $15 billion budget shortfall. If you get value from this channel, like, subscribe, comment, do all of the things. I want to know, one, if you stayed till the end, definitely let me know. If you stayed till the end, comment chicken butt. And if you have a question, I will answer every single question that has chicken butt somewhere in that comment. It lets me know that you stayed till the end. 2, I want to know your thoughts on this video, or not this video, but the budget concerns and how VA benefits are at risk starting October 1, 2024. That's a big deal.